In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum. Today we will discuss about life cycles in fungi. Fungi exhibit a variety of life cycles which are classified based on their ploidy, haploid or diploid, and reproductive strategies, asexual, sexual, or parasexual. Below is an overview of the main types of all the life cycles in fungi. The first one is the asexual cycle. In this cycle, fungi reproduce without sexual union, producing genetically identical spores, maybe conidia or sporangiospores, through mitosis, common in molds like Aspergillus and Penicillium. The cycle starts by the haploid spores, which germinate and produce mycelium. Then asexual spore production occurs through mitosis, and at the end, dispersal of spores takes place and cycle repeats. The second one is the haploid cycle. In this cycle, haploid phase dominant and diploid phase restricted to the zygote. In other words, fungi spend most of their life in the haploid state. Sexual reproduction occurs via fusion of haploid cells to form a diploid zygote, which undergoes meiosis to return to the haploid state. Examples include Zygomycota species, many species of Zygomycota. So how the cycle start? It starts from the haploid spores, which germinate into the mycelium, and then plasmogamy, followed by the karyogamy, then the formation of zygote, and meiosis takes place, and meiosis produces the haploid spores, and cycle repeats. The third one is the haploid cycle with restricted dikaryon. A short-lived dikaryotic stage, 2 nuclei per cell, exist between plasmogamy, mean fusion of cytoplasm, and karyogamy, fusion of nuclei. An example includes catarids and lower fungi. How the life cycle starts? Life cycle starts from the haploid spores, which germinate into the mycelium. Then plasmogamy occur, as well as transient dikaryon stage, short-lived transient dikaryon stage also exists between plasmogamy and karyogamy. After karyogamy, zygote produce, in which meiosis takes place and which produce the haploid spores, and cycle again repeats. The fourth one is the haploid dikaryon cycle. The haploid stage dominant, but a prolonged dikaryotic phase also exists, where two haploid nuclei coexist in each cell until karyogamy occurs during sexual reproduction. And this type of life cycle found in many basidiomycota, for example, mushrooms. How the cycle starts? Cycle starts by the haploid spores, which germinate into the mycelium. Then a plasmogamy occurs, and a prolonged dikaryotic mycelial stage also exists between the plasmogamy and karyogamy. Then zygote produced, and after meiosis, haploid spores produced, and the cycle repeats. The fifth one is the dikaryotic cycle. In this cycle, dominant Dikaryon stage occurs. The Dikaryon stage is the most dominant part of this cycle, especially in Ascomycota and Basidiomycota. Cells contain paired nuclei that only fuse during sexual reproduction to form diploid zygotes, which quickly undergo meiosis. So how the cycle starts? Cycle starts from the haploid spores which germinate into the mycelium, then plasmogamy occurs and prolonged dikaryotic stage of the mycelium exists between the plasmogamy and karyogamy, and which form the zygote in which meiosis takes place and haploid spores produce and the cycle repeats. The sixth one is the haploid diploid cycle. Both haploid and diploid phase dominate. It means both haploid and diploid phases are prominent. Haploid spores germinate and grow until mating occurs, producing a diploid zygote which divides mitotically before meiosis. Return the cycle to haploidy. Examples include some catarids and water modes. How the cycle start? Cycle again start from the haploid spores which germinate into the mycelium, then plasmogamy occurs, and then followed by the karyogamy, and then diploid mycelium produced, which occurs meiosis and produce the haploid spores, which and the cycle repeats again. The last one and the seventh one is the diploid cycle. This cycle is very rare in fungi, only present in some Oomycota. The majority of the life cycle is diploid, with haploid gametes produced only during sexual reproduction. How the cycle starts? This cycle starts from the diploid mycelium, which produce the gametes and gamete production via meiosis. Then gametes fuse and form the zygote, and zygote germinate into again the diploid mycelium, and the cycle repeats. There are two types of structures based on the fungi based on reproductive structures are divided into two types, Holocarpic and Eucarpic. Holocarpic fungi utilize their entire thallus and is converted into one or more reproductive structures. On the other hand, in eucarpic fungi, the thallus is differentiated into a vegetative part which absorbs the nutrients and a reproductive part which forms the reproductive structures. As you people can see here in this diagram, this is the holocarpic fungi in which there is only reproductive structures are formed. But this is the eucarpic fungi. One part is differentiated into the vegetative structures which absorb the nutrients, and other part is converted into the reproductive structures.